and welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks very much for tuning in once again. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, as I always do, I want to start off by thanking all of our regular subscribers and inviting anyone who's perhaps come across us for the first time to subscribe as well. And if you like what you see, to give us a like. Now, down below you'll find a link to our website, alphamilitaria.com, and on there you'll find a whole bunch of airgun related articles, features and reviews. And you'll also find a link to our shop where we sell some scopes and some other airgunning accessories. Now, down below as well you'll also find a link to our Discord channel where there's lots of good airgun chat going on, and you'll also find some links to some Amazon pages for some products that I use on a regular basis. Now then, our review today is of a budget entry-level spring-powered rifle that's been around for quite some time, and I think that kind of hints at the quality of this rifle. It is the Crosman Phantom. It's distributed in the UK by Range Right, and it has a recommended retail price of just £135, which is great value for money, especially when you consider that it comes with a 4x32 scope and a set of mounts as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the rifle as we usually do, from back to front. We'll zoom in on some of the key features, and then we'll talk about the whole cocking process. And then I will take it down the range and put a few pellets through it. So the first thing to note about the Crosman Phantom is it's actually quite a compact rifle, quite light as well. It's 1090mm long, so just over a metre, and it weighs about 3 kilos. So it's the kind of rifle that is going to appeal both for adult shooters and also for youngsters or smaller shooters as well. Now, the first thing to notice is that very obviously the stock is a black plastic or black polymer, but it's finished off quite nicely. There is a seam down the middle here, but there's no sharp edges on it. It's quite nicely finished, and it's completely ambidextrous, this rifle as well. At the back you have a solid rubber shoulder pad. There's no adjustment on that, as you might expect. But it is nice and comfortable, enables you to pull the gun into your shoulder quite nicely. The comb up here is quite high, gives you good alignment down the rest of the rifle as well. And the rest of the stock, you have this kind of pimpling on the pistol grip on both sides that extends a little bit up here, and then on the fore end as well. And that makes the rifle quite nice and grippy. I don't know if you can see also there's a little bit of a sort of a swoop in the bottom of the forestock here. Now, whether that's intended to make you put your lead hand within that swoop or designed to encourage you to put your hand on the sort of larger part of the stock, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, whatever style suits you best. But the overall effect is that, yeah, it's quite sturdy, nice and light, and it does come to the shoulder pretty well. The trigger guard is moulded into the stock. It's a part of the stock, and the trigger itself is, it's 135 pounds, so it's not going to be a Viroc trigger. But you know what? It's perfectly adequate for this kind of rifle. 2 stages, and the let-off is actually quite nice and quite crisp. There's also a safety catch, which is a little blade in the front of the trigger here. You push it forward to make the rifle live, and then you push it back to make the rifle safe. And that's a manual safety catch, which is resettable. Now, on top you have a couple of dovetails up here, and there's a hole in the top of the action just underneath this rear mount, which is designed to enable you to either get a mount that has like an arrestor pin in it, which is like a little stud that fits into that hole, or for you to buy a separate arrestor block, which is kind of like a mount but without the ring, that does the same thing. And that enables you to put your scope on and avoid any kind of recoil affecting the scope moving up and down the action. Now, as I said before, the scope that comes with this is a 4x32. It's a center point 4x32. I'm going to be honest, it's not the best scope in the world, but again, it's a scope for a £135 gun and is included in that £135. It's plastic, but you know what? It's nice and clear. There's no adjustment on it. There's no focusing ability on it, but it's nice and clear out to the kind of ranges that you're going to be using this rifle over, sort of 10 to 20, 25 yards maybe, and it does the trick perfectly. It has the usual elevation and windage adjustments at the top here, and it does come with a set of mounts. Now, moving forward, if you prefer to not have the scope and you want to shoot this with open sights, you get a set of open sights as standard with the rifle, and they're pretty good. They're made of plastic. The rear sight has a couple of red fibre optics in the top here that frames the aiming notch, and it's adjustable for both windage and elevation with a couple of wheels up here. And then moving forward from that, you've got the foresight, which is like a raised blade, and that has a green fibre optic to aim down as well. And the overall finish on the metalwork actually is pretty good. It's not a very glossy finish, it's more of a matte finish, but it's nice and deep and very even as well. So I think that's all the key things. What we'll do now is we'll zoom in on a few of those in close-up, and then we'll go through the whole cocking process. So breaking and cocking the Crosman Phantom is the same as most break barrels, to be honest. There's no catch to release the barrel or anything like that. What you want to do is you want to put the butt in the top of your thigh to hold it nice and steady. Put your right hand, if you're right-handed, underneath the forend here, and then just give the end of the barrel a bit of a tap just to break the breech. And then to cock it, it's simply a case of pulling down that barrel. Now, when you do that, the safety catch does not get engaged automatically. But if you were to, for some reason, pull the trigger accidentally, there is an anti-bear trap mechanism in here that will prevent the barrel flying up, doing any damage or cutting your finger or anything like that. However, I always do say to people that you can never really rely 100% on those kinds of mechanisms. So it's always a good idea that when you're cocking the rifle and you're inserting a pellet into the breech up here, you just keep your left hand on this barrel, so that if that anti-bear trap does give way, you've still got that added security to prevent any injury. Now once you put a pellet in the breech, obviously return the barrel. It locks up nice and quietly, and also nice and sturdily as well, with no sort of play, no discernible play in the barrel at all. And then you're ready to go. Well, that's a quick rundown on the Crosman Phantom. What we do now is we'll take it down the range, put a few pellets in it, and see how it shoots. So I'm down at Reading Air Target Shooting Club. I brought the Crosman Phantom with me. Now, I'll be honest with you, having had a few shots with this, in all honesty, I don't think the scope is quite up to target shooting. You just can't get good enough focus with it. But in all honesty, I think people are going to use this rifle more for shooting tin cans than they are for targets, or certainly for vermin control. And I put it on the chrono, and it's about 9.5 foot-pounds, which in my mind puts it closer towards the tin can kind of side of shooting than it does pest control or vermin control. So in a little bit of a departure from my normal routine, I'll put some tin cans out at 20 yards and we'll see how it shoots. Oh, I love a tin can, me. I'm such a child. Oh, yes. Oh, great shot. Oh, yes. Well, that's 5 from 5. So that's the Crosman Phantom. Great little budget rifle. 135 quid, including a scope. As I said, if you really wanted to try and find how accurate this is on targets, you probably want to upgrade the scope a little bit. But as I say, for tin can bashing in the garden, it's absolutely superb. You know, it shoots really nicely. It's easy to cock, and it's perfectly adequate for shooting tin cans. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like more information on this rifle and a whole bunch of other airgunning topics, check out our website, which is alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.